think I'm sure I could find an awful lot of people who'd put their hands up to be in partnership with Jackie Stewart for a Grand Prix team. So I know I'm a lucky boy, and I don't let myself forget that.
When Jackie set about securing the millions of pounds it would take to mount a successful campaign, he sought and introduced new kinds of sponsors to Formula One.
I'm pleased to announce that HSBC Holdings today signed an agreement to sponsor Stewart Grand Prix Limited at a cost of £5 million per year for the coming 5 racing seasons.
Another sponsorship first, from the Far East, was a signing by the Prime Minister of the Malaysian government.
Okay, because if Rick is going to act, he's got to hand his notice in by sort of 5 o'clock or something.
I'll call him now.
All right, thanks.
Cheers, bye.
Paul, meanwhile, assembled a full racing team, drawn from throughout the motor racing community. First on board was technical director Alan Jenkins. Embarking on a punishing schedule, the design team began planning from scratch the construction of a brand new racing car. 9 months and 9 days later, to an expectant public and curious press, the team revealed a car bearing the tartan livery of Racing Stewart. From Milton Keynes, the two transporters head for the English Channel and the night ferry to France.
These are radical. These are the new spec.
Everybody's driving, dusting up the tires. Wonder who's the winner. Guess they're in the fast lane.
Now, mate, that's happy hoot.
They're just racing to some new checkered flag. A Pleasant Valley home to take some value.
Down through France, across the Pyrenees and into northern Spain, the transporters make steady progress in the hands of the team's truckies.
Hey, hola! Niente. Sorry. Him? Yeah. Gracias. As you can see, my Spanish is as good as ever. We sent the advance vehicle Saturday on Bilbao, which meant they arrived in the circuit last night, painted all the floors and started getting everything set up. And we had to leave Sunday night. Plus it means we got half a Sunday at home and we had Saturday off. Hopefully, yeah, we perhaps score some points. I think that's all we can hope for, really. But I say, if we'd have said at the start of the year we was going to be qualifying 3rd in Argentina, finishing 2nd in Monaco, qualifying 5th and 6th in Austria, people would have just looked at us and laughed and said, you know, there's no way it'll happen. But it has happened, and it's been a good year.
Goes up to 3rd position. That's by far the highest that a Stewart Ford has been. The Danish driver in the Stewart Ford is in a superb 8th place. That's the highest he's ever been in Grand Prix racing.
I'm the refuel man for the race, so I'm the one that puts the nozzle on. So if anything's going to go drastically wrong, it's me that's going to get it, really. It's been fine, touch wood. Can't find any wood, but it's just a saying anyway, isn't it? Yeah, so hopefully it'll be all okay. One more to do, depending on how many pit stops we make this race. This is our exit.
It's early evening by the time the trucks arrive at the Andalusian circuit. Meanwhile, the team's chairman, ever mindful of his investors, is on the other side of the world making a personal guest appearance at a sponsor's event.
The philosophy of the Stewart Ford team has been to bring together a group of blue-chip multinational corporations of high prestige, and we've achieved that probably better than any team in the pit lane. I mean, there can't be a more spectacular venue anywhere in the world, really.
One of the 8 wonders of the world?
Oh, it's the most impressive building. First of all, may I say it's very nice to be back in Australia, lovely to be back in Sydney, and to be in such a very impressive bar. In my days, motor racing truly was dangerous, and sex was safe. It is certainly now the most capital invested sport in the world, above even flat racing, horse racing, which is pretty big money, certainly larger than the NFL in America and any of the other large organizations, including golf and tennis. So it is a global sport. It's classless because most people drive a motor vehicle of some kind or another. But it is socially acceptable. Something as a combination of both few sports can boast.
When the Formula One circus comes to town, this sleepy place is dusted down and soon transformed into a stage set for a worldwide television audience of 300 million people. Despite the intense rivalry on the track, there is great camaraderie among the truckies of all the teams. Over a few hours, more than 60 vehicles will arrive here. Team transporters and motorhomes squeeze next to trucks from tyre manufacturers and trade suppliers. All will be washed down, polished up to form a vivid backdrop to the week's unfolding drama. On Sunday will be enacted the final act of a saga whose course has run over 7 months and 5 continents.
I think the racing team, the glamour, the colour, the excitement, the car getting rolled out, the pit garage and going onto the track is the tip of the iceberg. What you don't see is the immense amount of work that goes into it.
He just wants everybody to go square to the line instead of everybody going straight on the angle. So everybody's got to move now.
Bit of a bore, isn't it?
It's normal. Everywhere we go, we have to move it. Oh, Lion Bar's going to struggle like a billy-o, isn't he?
If we've got on and into our people movers and got to the airport and the wrong reservations had been made on the aircraft, we are in big trouble. Likewise, when we get off at the other end and there's no rental cars there or no hotel rooms and no laundry arrangements made because we have to have 4 changes of clothing for everybody who travels, and we have generally around 57 people travelling. So if you think about it, it's an immense amount of work.
And now the trucks aren't going to fit in on an angle with the steps down, so we're going to have to end up pulling them forward now and taking the tractor units off, I think.
It is planned in almost military precision. And in fact, ironically, we have 2 people retired from the army who are deeply involved, my PA and my ex-PA. Get in contact with us.
Okay. What does he mean by square to the line? Does he mean like that, or does he mean like that? Like that? Well, you're miles out still then, Shag.
Presentation is also a competitive business.
Williams is a bit of a food carrier. Is that your home wheat biscuits, William? William? Hey?
Known as the captain, William is finding it difficult to command this group.
You finished, Abby. Can I go?
Yes, I was going to maybe come down to the track.
Okay.
Look at that. Helen, look at this.
And as if deliberately timed to disrupt William's plans, the Schumacher entourage arrives.
Two, three. I love this one.
Yeah?
Oh, hello. Come on.
Quarter past, thank you. It's just agony, agony.
I love dogs. You put two.
I'm sitting outside the hotel waiting for Jackie and Paul to sort themselves out to bring them down to the circuit. So hopefully I won't have to be here. I've been here 20 minutes, Dave. And they were just running in to drop their bags.
As William waits at the hotel, activities in the garage are quiet and purposeful.
Just wait for Paul. He's on the phone. He's on his way up. Have we got a car that's down there?
No. Your car is Andy's car, which is at the airport.
The trucks are now positioned correctly, but the morning's delays have left the team 5 hours behind schedule. 3 cars must be broken down, reassembled, and set up for this circuit in time for first practice tomorrow. By mid-afternoon, the circuit has become a hive of activity.
Give him the horn.
He's waved.
Oi! You can't chew dumb and walk.
I think it's always like this. The first day they're all sort of saying, "Hey, Jackie! Hello!
Come on, keep going.
As the cars are assembled in the pits with practiced efficiency, for William, things are going from bad to worse.
How are you? Are you waiting for this briefing?
No, I'm waiting for you to give Raniero a pass. Raniero hasn't got a pass.
Come down here. Raniero needs a pass, doesn't he? Ah, dear.
The teams are protected by a ring of steel in the paddock, an area behind the pit lane garages. This is the inner sanctum, and access is a fiercely guarded privilege.
That is staggeringly annoying.
No pass, no can get in tomorrow.
Oh, I might give him my pass.
What, and you do a runner?
Yeah.
Paddock passes are a precious commodity, and they're William's responsibility.
Has Sonic given back the pass that he used by any chance?
Not to me, unless Dave's got it.
Do you know where Dave is?
He was out and about, just around here.
Jackie today has invited 4 more people down here for the weekend. I am going to fight as hard as I can for you to keep on to those passes.
Okay.
Jackie has gone to try and get 4 more from Bernie.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get them from Bernie, he's going to come to me. Those are my last 2 passes.
But can you tell him? Because otherwise
Absolutely no. Yeah, I cannot tell you what a nightmare. What's that pass there? Where's that from? Okay, right. I'll be right back. I've just got to go and find Dave.
This season, the veteran supplier of racing tyres is joined by another newcomer to the paddock, Bridgestone. This week, for the Stewart cars alone, they will prepare over 60 wheels. But the seemingly endless supply of tyres is in fact carefully rationed. The choice of rubber compounds and the deployment of the tyres is of critical tactical importance.
The Bridgestone tyres were good in every situation, but it was really at Monaco that I felt that they were superior. It was a great time to show. Monaco was very slippery. I mean, you have the pedestrian part in white that is very, very slippery, and the tires were fantastic. It was just a mega race with a mega tire and exactly weather. I love the wet weather, and it was exactly the moment that I was waiting for.
The Grand Prix of Monaco is run on the streets of the Mediterranean town of Monte Carlo. This race is the jewel in the crown of Formula One. In his years as a driver, Jackie Stewart was victorious here 3 times. But in May 1997, he arrived here in a new capacity, a team owner with privileged connections.
So we're going to have rain. Well, that's good for us.
For Jackie and his family, it was a homecoming. And the night before the race, they were dinner guests of their old friends, the Grimaldi royal family.
Caroline. Hello. Lovely to see you. Hi, Steffers.
Jackie's premonition of rain proved prescient. The following morning revealed leaden skies, and the Stewart cars made flying starts on wet weather tyres.
And it is go. Schumacher leads away, and Fisichella is coming up too to take Frentzen.
If you're going to get a good result during a Grand Prix season, as a new team or as any team, then Monaco is the place to get that result.
Look at Rubens Barrichello and Johnny Herbert. They're closing right up now on Ralf Schumacher. But Rubens Barrichello is the man to watch at the moment. And he goes through as Ralf Schumacher half spins.
Suddenly, everything was given to us in an immensely impressive and satisfying way.
Michael Schumacher is now 22 seconds ahead, and Barrichello goes through and up to second place by passing Fisichella, who's got Schumacher right behind him. Now there's Barrichello second, Fisichella third, Schumacher fourth.
Rubens did not come from the back and enjoy the attrition of others by them dropping out by the wayside or making mistakes and having accidents. He drove past them, and nobody retired in front of him. So he came from where he was on the grid right through and passed under extraordinarily difficult circumstances.
We look again, and rightly so, at Rubens Barrichello, who is now just 21 seconds behind Michael Schumacher.
That's Paul Stewart with Jackie, Father Jackie, watching the computer screen and the TV picture that you're watching absolutely intently.
And it was this much away from a first place.
If Rubens Barrichello finishes this race, all Jackie Stewart...
That's Schumacher, that's Schumacher!
Off! Now, has he kept the engine running? Yes, he has. Well done, Michael, kept the engine running. Well, he's 74 seconds, and that's Sander Vaught.
Michael Schumacher did make a rare error, and had he not been Michael Schumacher, he would have attempted to get round the corner and he would almost certainly have been eliminated right there, and Rubens would have won. Now, that would not have been a real win, because that was Schumacher's race. But it was our second place, by a farmer's mile.
The victory for Michael Schumacher is matched in terms of achievement by the second place for Rubens Barrichello. And look at the Stewart team. This is an incredible achievement. Second place for Rubens Barrichello. 6 World Championship points for the Stewart team. 2 great, great drives.
The Monaco Grand Prix second place and being on that podium as a constructor meant more to me than anything that I've ever done in motor racing. It meant more to me than winning my first or my last or the middle World Championship.
Jackie, you're almost crying. It's an amazing day. Rubens Barrichello second. What a result.
Well, I can't tell you how happy I am for Paul.
He's so emotional he can't talk to us. We'll catch up with you later on, Jackie. Well done. Brilliantly done.
If I have any regrets, it is that I haven't been able to enjoy or even suffer the appropriate amount of distilled time after the peak of the valley has occurred.
Jackie, I'll show him this.
Yeah.
Oh!
Show that to ITV.
Can you imagine?
Show me that.
That's the one she was wearing when I won here in '71. Not the only one.
We left at 2 o'clock in the morning to fly to Brussels, to leave me off, to have a car driver drive me to Eindhoven, to have 2 hours sleep or less, before I had to be testing a new prototype for Ford Motor Company at the Lommel Proving Ground in Belgium. Monaco, for me, had been forgotten, dispatched with, when I was on the track at 8 o'clock in the morning on a new, probably £600,000 or £700,000 prototype. And that had gone from my life so quickly that I wasn't able to really fulfill the bouquet or the roses or anything else that there was to do. And that applies to anything. Even when we've been hit hard in the solar plexus with a major disappointment, I haven't had time to suffer correctly from that fault or from that misjustice or from that error.
Never before has the last race of a season been more significant, with only a single point dividing Jacques Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher. The Drivers' Championship, the greatest prize of all, will be won or lost here. At the other end of the pit lane, it's business as usual. As Jackie grants another interview, it's an opportunity for William to brief the drivers.
It's a very light weekend in terms of the commercial department's requirements of you both. There is nothing further in the evening. I will try and stake my claim on that, but there shouldn't be, and you've obviously got a lot of guests, so you should have the time to do that. Running through the individual days, today we have got potentially 29 people in the Paddock Club. We would like to have some sort of appearance, however, as you know, Fridays they often don't bother turning up. And we will tell you basically before the second practice whether we will ask for you to join us there after the second practice. So we'll make you aware of that. Jan might be required in cadets. It's the mother of all parties, Jan. Yeah. I think the Renault one will be good. 6 years. If they win on Sunday as well, that's 6 years they won the constructors. They're going to go out in style. But you're old, Jan. You might be tired.
At 24 years of age, and in his first full season of Formula One, Jan Magnussen was an unknown commodity. Had the team taken one risk too many in backing this novice?
Where Rubens was very experienced when he arrived at Stewart Grand Prix, that he could help himself out of some situations where I was very much relying on either Rubens' comments or the team's comments, and they were pretty much in the dark, just as I was.
I mean, I see the two drivers as being part of the family, and there's lots of things I would tell Rubens or Jan that maybe other team managers or owners would not tell them, simply because, again, with the possible exception of Alain Prost, I've been where they've been and know it well. And I know the feelings, the fears, and the uncertainties that they have in their own minds. And when something does go wrong, they've got to be told they're wrong so that they can learn from it, because some people don't mind saying they're wrong, but it takes a while. Most people want to cover their errors over, and it's much better to come out with it and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It saves such a lot of time, but it takes some maturity to do that. In the case of Jan, when he left the pits at the Grand Prix of Luxembourg, we were in a position to finish in the first three. We were in very good shape.
Here's an important moment. Can Dinitz get down the pit lane before Magnussen? Clearly not. Get in the fast lane, Jan. Otherwise he's going to pass you. He's going to pass you anyway. Wake up.
I'd say the clutch is gone. Did the same as he did the last time.
Joint sort of snapped on the way out.
Too aggressive. He just abused the transmission, the clutch, and the gearbox, and it broke. Damn.
You know, it was just a difficult time, difficult to focus on what you were doing. Sometimes it was very easy to just think, oh, to hell with it. Just let it go, but that's when it's important to fight on and get the best out of what you got.
Jan, this is not the ideal time to talk about it, but one of the things you have in your mind when you're going through a pit stop is, and we should maybe talk to you on the way through, on the way down the pit lane, is just to really keep calm about taking it out of the pits, because the dropping of it like that, that's what shears it. And it did it the last time too, when you had that problem. You've got to be more gentle. I mean, just think of it as a piece of jewellery. I mean, it's going through hell all day long. So the worst thing you're going to do to it is give it a heavy one.
Yes. No, it's just, he gave his view. Whenever Jackie speaks to it, it always looks like he's giving me a barking, because he... No, it's just, he believed that I dumped the clutch too hard and broke the drive shaft, and he explained to me that I should be more careful.
As soon as you did it, just the millisecond you did it, I thought, oh, it was just too severe. Really. Anyway, good drive.
Problems with tyres, so...
Yeah, but you didn't have any more troubles than everybody else out there. Where you were doing fine, thank you very much.
Yeah. No,
I mean, if that car had finished, Jan, you'd have finished third or fourth. Both Mercedes are out.
Were they both out?
Yeah, both out.
They are now.
You know? You'd have finished third, you know. Anyway.
After about 7 or 8 races, things started to be really bad. Things just didn't work. Canada was really bad, because Rubens was 5th or something, 3rd, I think. And I was 22nd or 21st, so that was difficult to accept.
Now he's building up to the very, very quick straight, 185 miles an hour.
In Canada, the team was struggling with an engine still seriously short on power. Nevertheless, Rubens qualified third with a lap that was only 0.3 of a second slower than Villeneuve on pole position. In stark contrast, Jan started the race from the back of the grid and went out on the first lap.
It was very difficult. I kept telling Jan, brake earlier, give yourself more preparation time. And it really wasn't coming. He didn't seem to understand the language, because after all, he wanted to prove himself to us, to himself, and to the many people who had given him support.
The second half of the season, where things should have started to go a lot better than they were, I was worried that I wouldn't keep my drive, or you see other drivers come and speak to Jackie and Paul, and I was just trying to keep my head down and do the best job I could to still, so that they could make their mind up that I was going to keep my seat.
Come contract time and the annual drivers' game of musical chairs, Jan's future with the Stewart team hung in the balance.
We know that the numbers that he's interested in. If we are interested, then we should move it forward. I think he's getting nervous about the Jordan position.
I mean, we've now got a structure. Yeah. We know where we're making mistakes, and we know where that's happening. So that'll just take time. It just doesn't happen.
One of the established drivers that we're interested in is Salo, potentially.
I think he's quite interested as well, staying with the full family as well. Do get that impression. Does this mean that Jan is very much out of the frame for next year, or is sort of is the?
Well, we've got to start talking. I mean, the jury's out, if you like, and I mean, if he suddenly clicked into place and went really quick in the remaining races, then it would change the situation. But if it doesn't, then we've got to, I think for the health of the company and for the motivation of everyone else in the team, it would be irresponsible not to look elsewhere.
Well, that's interesting.
Anyway, we better get out there.
All right.
1 o'clock. I think this session, we'll put more downforce on the car for this session.
And, and the ratios have changed as well, yeah?
Front anti-roll bar.
Mags had a great career in Formula 3, then kind of dipped out big time and everyone lost confidence in it, but Jackie didn't. And then from what I perceived, Jackie was having trouble, getting him to perform this year, but lately he suddenly turned a corner, and I think we could all be in for a bit of a nasty shock.
And suddenly he was as fast as Rubens Barrichello, and sometimes faster. And he was running up with some of the best racing drivers in the world. He had a confidence about him because he was worried that he was going to be left behind by the team, and we would have done, I'm afraid.
Really, as of Monza, which is not far after the mid-season, he really started to come on strong and was working well with Rubens.
At the crucial time, Jan had finally started to go quickly, fast enough and consistently enough to earn himself a seat in the team for the following season.
There you go. Good, I'm glad you're on board.
To actually re-sign them is a very bright thing to do, because the benefit of continuity in Formula One, whether it's personal relations between drivers or technical collaboration with an engine manufacturer, is very, very important. I think teams that dot around getting different engines, different drivers from year to year are always under a handicap. So I think Rubens has done very well. I think he'd been at Jordan too long. I think he'd become a little bit stale, and I think he's had a bit of a renaissance this year.
For me, in my career, was a step initially backwards to go forward. It wasn't something that I'm losing. I think I'm definitely gaining, and I think Jackie and Paul respect me a lot as a driver, so I feel much at home, as the the family and everything is much closer to the way I live, and I feel pretty good. I feel very, very confident.
I think he's now going to get on to the second phase of his learning curve, because to get into the big time, the real big time, he's going to have to make mild changes to his own life of driving, And I think we can help him in that, and I think I can help him in that. And it'll be very interesting to see how he behaves under pressure from Jan, which he hasn't had really properly yet this year. And every racing driver, a top-level racing driver, should have a good, strong teammate to actually push him.
I've learned a lot from Rubens this year. It's been very helpful. There hasn't been any particular thing where I could say, well, I've learned that from Rubens, but I can ask him about setups and where to be careful. I'll do a lap around a circuit with Rubens sometimes, and he'll explain to me where to be careful and what to do in different places. There hasn't been any time where I've asked him something and then he didn't want to answer me, so it's a good relationship.
I think it's enormously important for both drivers to have a very good relationship with each other, both at the racetrack, but away from the racetrack socially.
Ecco, sotto il cascinese. Engine problem, okay?
Throughout the season, engine failure has been a familiar problem for both drivers, and never more so than at the British Grand Prix in July.
We didn't have the luxury of testing time. We didn't have the luxury that other teams do of having a testing team. And as a result, the decision was taken in the early part of the year that to reach a level by the end of the season which was approaching competitiveness with the other teams, we had to basically test in public, and that's what we did.
The British Grand Prix was a disastrous weekend for us. The whole thing went right down the tube, and we had 1,350 guests. I was standing in the garage, in the pit garage, and suddenly we had lost 2 Formula One engines. We had you know, HSBC, the government of Malaysia. I mean, you mention it, on the car was everybody. And they all had come to see the pièce de résistance. Oh, look how well they did in Argentina qualifying. Look how well they did in qualifying in Montreal. My goodness, did you see that second place in Monte Carlo? Boy, this is it. On their home territory in front of their own crowd. Wow. Disaster. And we had to take it. I mean, you know, we had to take it. We lost 3 engines and cars, if you like, on the racetrack within 20 minutes. But not just quietly and unobtrusively, but with more smoke and fire and water and oil than, you know, Vesuvius would have produced in the way of volcanic action. And I mean, it just became ridiculous. And we just laughed. I mean, really, one had to look at it philosophically and as character building, and I must say, the team came out with immensely strong characters. And it was part of, I think, the way that people see our team.
They know that it's only in the crucible of actual Formula One competition that you get the extreme pressures that find the Achilles heel, the weaknesses, and they have been prepared to put up with engines blowing up in public in the knowledge that by that happening it would be a spur to faster development, and towards the end of the season we saw it all start to come together.
All over the show there as well as...
There was no frayed tempers, there was no why did this blow up and why did your part break or why did my part break or why wasn't this done? It was really, oh well, God, not another one. Or, oh dear.
After a disappointing qualifying session, it is left to the mechanics and engineers to burn the midnight oil and rebuild the cars yet again.
You're at the back of the grid. What happened? Not where you normally expect to be. Obviously a bit of a disaster.
Well, it was really disaster. It was, you know, I had 3 failures on the engine yesterday, so I never started so far back, but I hope I can claim my position back.
Okay.
You starting 21st on the grid. There's nothing else you can do. You just damage your tires. It's no good at all. Following people that is much slower than you cannot overtake. So it was a very difficult weekend, but if you learn from it, it's not a problem, and I think we did.
The events of the race further compound the team's misery as both Rubens and Jan retire prematurely.
I don't know if you can see the TV right now, but I guess it's reasonably self-evident what's happened to Rubens.
Yeah, we got it.
Jan Magnussen goes out sadly for Jackie Stewart, who the team is still struggling for reliability, and it looks like the engine, obviously, from the smoke that's coming from the back.
Now, a lot of people do their test and development blowing up engines in the privacy of test sessions and off-season development work, and I think it's unfortunate that Ford have had to press ahead as hard as they have and had all this succession of public engine failures, but I think they'll reap the benefit of all that next year.
For the race fans who have spent the night camped outside the circuit, the dawn brings the promise of a day of resolution. After a dramatic final qualifying session, Villeneuve is on pole position with his arch-rival Michael Schumacher next to him. Clocking lap times that are identical to the nearest 1,000th of a second, there is nothing between the two championship contenders. Several teams along the pit lane make the most of a rare opportunity to rehearse their pit stop routine.
And I did expect more glitches. We didn't have one big problem, not one screw up on a pit stop during any of these races. And that, for a new team, for me, was very impressive. And that was down to them.
The pit crew challenged the management and marketing team to give them a lesson on how it should really be done.
I think there's a spirit in the team that is unusual in Formula One. I don't mean the spirit to win, because that exists in every garage and pit lane. But I think there's a feel-good factor. There's a sort of more relaxed atmosphere. There's a genuine pleasure factor in our team.
Wow.
Happy birthday, old Andy. Happy birthday to you.
These trick candles.
Now what are we now? Are we 32 or 33? 33. Or is it 34?
Jackie can't have any because he's on a diet.
The good captain here is going to have mine like he has everybody else's Mars bars, Kit Kats.
I'll be finding my lawyer later.
As the morning's practice session draws to a close, Lucy and Samantha prepare lunch in the team motorhome. If an army marches on its stomach, this team goes racing on pasta and water from the Highlands of Scotland.
Dos? Okay. All right, couple of minutes and we'll do that for you.
Today, the team is joined by an old friend of the family, Jody Scheckter, the last man to win a world championship for Ferrari. For McLaren driver Mika Häkkinen, the last minutes before the race are spent in private contemplation. For Jan, a vigorous massage.
That's okay. Check the clutch.
The Stewart cars are lying side by side in 11th and 12th positions on the grid.
Well, we'll see what happens, although I think probably people end up doing 2 stops majority anyway, but it makes sense for them.
Villeneuve's Williams passes to take his place on pole position.
Behind Schumacher is Damon Hill. 4, 5, pause. And it's go, 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 go. Villeneuve gets away and Schumacher gets away. Better, better, better. Michael Schumacher leads, and up alongside Villeneuve comes Heinz Harald Frentzen. Damon Hill is there too. But Coulthard has come through. Mika Häkkinen is up there. Fantastic start. Let's hope there are no collisions. It's absolutely perfect.
Ruben's got nailed back, Ruben's got dropped back.
Jan Magnussen in the Stewart is a magnificent 8th, ahead of Gerhard Berger 9th and Rubens Barrichello 10th.
Rubens makes the first of his 2 scheduled pit stops, but there's a problem. Clutch failure for car number 22 means for Rubens the end of the race and the season.
See you next year.
It's time to join the ranks of spectators and watch events unfold from the comfort of the motorhome.
And in comes Michael Schumacher.
In under 8 seconds, the pit crew will change all 4 wheels and pump 80 kilos of fuel into Jan's tank.
Frentzen is third, Berger is in fourth place, David Coulthard is fifth.
Well, again, Michael Schumacher very slow, 1:25.9 on that last lap. I wonder if he's got something like a slow puncture or some kind of gear shift problem, because Villeneuve is all over him. Look, he's going through. Oh, yes. I don't think.
Out goes Michael Schumacher.
That didn't work. That didn't work, Michael. You hit the wrong part of him, my friend. I don't think that will cause Villeneuve a problem.
And if Villeneuve can just keep going in the points, he's won the World Championship of 1997, because out of the race goes Michael Schumacher. He retires on lap 48.
It's his first win.
Yeah.
Häkkönen's first Grand Prix win.
Done, Jan. Very good. Very happy?
Yes.
Yeah, you did a good drive. Very good. Excellent.
9th place for Jan leaves him out of the points, but his race finish ends the team's season on a high note.
We made it through the year.
Yeah.
We've created the finance to go racing. We've created the skills of the people and the machinery to manifest it. And we've performed on the track to a level which has impressed most people.
I know we couldn't think of anything better than we've had this year. It's way above our expectations. Everybody's worked so hard under such incredible pressure. So thank you to everybody once again. Cheers.
We've come through the end of the season all in one piece and better prepared to go into the next year and a few more years. And I think we should be very grateful that 97 has been the year it's been.